Hello, in today's video we'll be doing some maintenance service on my 2009 Infiniti FX. It's going to be on the in-cabin air filters. I have two options over here and I've made videos on these, but I will still add some part numbers in the descriptions, share links and things like that. So let me get in here and show you what we're working with. So the in-cabin air filter, this is what the basic one looks like. I have the fancy one over here. This is the nicer grape polyphenol option. I like this option because it comes with this sticker, you know, a reminder, foam backed. It's really nice and sturdy. I'll set all the other ones off for a while. And this thing is located within your dashboard somewhere in there, so we have to remove the glove box to gain access to it. And what the purpose of the air filter is that it sucks when you blow a motor that's underneath there, sucks in air through the cowl over here. This filter is supposed to trap all the bad stuff. Okay, and I've got to show you something. When you look inside here, this sticker right here actually tells you the recommended change intervals, and it tells you change the, you know, if you're in North America, change it every 15,000 miles or 1 year. People outside of North America are supposed to do it 12,000 miles. Am I reading that correctly? Yes, 12,000 miles. So let's set this down and I'll be discussing this project and talk about some of the basics and what we need to watch out for. First thing I need to tell you is that in removing this here, we've got, you know, just swing it open, it hinges down, and you can notice that it goes down in a rather controlled manner. You've got a damper system, so we'll watch out for that. And two, as I said, it hinges off some pivot point, which is down here. That's going to be something else to watch out for. For removal, this is what we do. Open the glove box, not all the way, just partly. And what you need to do at this point is pull it up, because you need to detach the hinge joint. So pull up and you'll hear some unnerving popping noises. There you go. And at this point, just make sure that the bottom hangs loose like this. All right. And then what you do now is just swing this all the way to the bottom as far as you can. Push it towards that side and then swing this side out. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but you're trying to work. I'll show you what's going on. Okay, let's go down again. Push it that way, and then swing this side out, and then pull it out. Okay, so at this point, you've detached these pins. There are pins that usually hold the, you know, basically set the limit as to how wide your glove box will open, and these are the pins. There's one here, there's another one on the other side, but then what's holding this is a string. This is the damper. Sometimes when you hold it this way, the damper just snaps off by itself, but today it's holding, so that's great. And I guess I could try to work an example where it just snaps off. When you set this down, sometimes it just snaps off. There you go, like that. So this is where the damper goes, right here. And there's a male, there's a protrusion here, and there's a hole, a receiver, and as you'd expect, the other side has matching marks or matching features. So here you go. And during installation, this protrusion goes into that hole. Well, we'll come back to that. Okay, let me set this to the side. I haven't mentioned it, but the only tool you really need at this point is a Phillips head screwdriver, and you have 7 screws typically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In a lot of the cars, a lot of these Infinitis that I'm working on, the 7th one inside there is always missing. I don't know what happens to them, but I'll just go ahead and remove these, and it should be a pretty straightforward process. Okay, that's it. 6 of them out. And at this point, this panel needs to come out, but you'll notice down here, there's something. Can you see the foam down there? Okay, so this panel down here usually holds your footwell light, and you need to detach it because it usually attaches to this part. Just push it down. Usually has 3 pins. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And that's it. If you choose, you could disconnect the electrical connectors, but it's not really important at this point. And this one hinges. At the bottom, there's a male part to it. Look at that. See this part right here? This one here? It goes into a slotted hole, and then sometimes this side, yep, this one has 2. There's another one here. So in there, basically just feel with your hands and you'll get to know where they're supposed to go. But to remove this panel, so set this down, just pull here, you can find something, and out it goes. Okay, so this is the damper I was talking about. The string, and I'll do my best to remember to attach a video in the description where I was talking about the damper system. Some people don't really know that your glove box isn't supposed to slam all the way down. So this is the damper. It's a pretty big guy, big cartridge. Oh, something snapped off here. My light. So this one is gonna go here. I guess this one came loose, so we'll work with this one. Nothing broke off, it just kind of popped off, and that's fine. It gives us enough. This one is all the way loose, doesn't really have too many connections. But for cars, for FXs with like trunk release switches, you'll probably have something here, or this side. I can't remember really at this moment. Set this out of the way. Okay, so at this point, this is what you came here for. This part right here. And to remove it, this is the one that usually kind of breaks. They've got like 2 designs. You want to start with this side over here. Pull it up. That's pretty much all you have to do. Pull it up. Pull it up, and then pull it towards the right side. Okay, and that's it. So do you see these 2? Yeah, these protrusions go into 2 slots over there. And then you might have noticed that this one kind of fell down when I removed it. You've got this feature over here. It's supposed to hold the in-cabin air filter up like that. So that's something we'll pay attention to on the way in. Slide this out. Oh, look at that. It's got a nice one. But unfortunately, no one thought of putting the date on it. So I don't really know how many miles and how long ago this was replaced, but they did use a nice filter. 27277 1CA1B, and this one is 1CA1B, pretty much the same one. So I'm gonna go ahead and label this because I don't want the next person guessing when this was done. And this part, I mean, you don't really have to do it. It's just, if you want to do it, just go ahead and do it. So it's odd because this one is in, non-US system. So it can be a little confusing for some people. And the mileage was 208, 493. I already checked my odometer. So it could be, I understand why it can be confusing for some people to do it, but it's not too hard. I'm doing it for my own good. I'm not too worried about leaving it in there because, as you can see, this one was hanging out in there with no concerns. And 2, air blows down. So whenever air is in contact with this surface, it shouldn't be a concern. And maybe it's good practice. I know these part numbers are the same, but good practice is just check and maybe compare dimensions of what you're about to replace with what you have bought as a replacement. And then on the way in, just slide this in there. You could check, make sure there are no sticks, funny stuff, make sure it looks reasonably clean, and this one is. So go ahead and slide this in there. It says air. It has an arrow over here that says air down, and I've got another video talking about all these different nuances, so something to pay attention to. slide it in, make sure it can go up, and it does go up. That's good. So at this point, it's pretty simple. Just bring this in, work it such that it's lifting the air filter, slide it off to the left, make sure it engages. Oh, well, so it's a little tricky, I guess. Ah, in we go. Ah, nice, there you go. You needed to do that first. And then just push. And that's it. Okay, so this part is pretty much done. You're done with the bulk of your air filter replacement. Time to put everything back together. Okay, we shall start with this one here. I guess just leave it dangling. Feeling with my hands, get to have an idea where it's supposed to sit. Found the first hole, found the second hole, and I'll just leave it dangling for now. Get this one here, just push it in, really, shouldn't be too hard. Okay, this is your glove box light. Whenever your headlights are on and you open your glove box, you'll see that. So at this point, just go ahead and push this in. Thankfully, this one holds itself in place. That's good. The reason I'm rejoicing over that is because in sudden vehicles, it's very crucial to have the 7th screw, because that's what holds it in. Like the M56, for example. Everything else will just kind of fall off. So let me go ahead and screw these in. Wrong hole. The gap over here was a little larger than I would have liked it to be, so needed to massage that in. And I'm going to put the last screw in the corner. As I said, one's missing, and I choose to leave this one. I'm just trying to do a balance of forces, a balancing of forces, and reduce the likelihood of squeaks and rattles. And that's it. Obviously, power tools optional, but I prefer not to use them at this point. I just don't want anything breaking. At least not this late in the game. I don't want anything stripping. So at this point, just go ahead and push this up. It's going to find its way home. Okay. It's hooked to the end. Just push up. Okay, that's it. So that does it for it. So now we've got two things to fight at this point. One, the damper. I've already shown you how it's supposed to be installed, this way. And then you've got these hinges over here. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we had to pull up on the way out. So yeah, makes sense that on the way in we're gonna have to push it down, but not just jam it in there. There's a little method to the madness. Let's do that. So first thing we want to do is get the damper on. You're gonna get the glove box as close as possible. I'm gonna warn you that hanging it by the damper, it might snap off, it might hold. Who really knows? Listen to the snap. Okay, in it goes. Okay, now at this point you want to engage these pins into these slots, the limiter slots, and we're gonna lift it up. It generally finds its own way home, but try your best to do the opposite of whatever was going on during removal. Okay, so that's found a hole. Swing this in. have it seated. Okay, and it does hold, it does have a limit, so that's good. And then bring the bottom, you're gonna have to work with your hands, bring the bottom towards the hinges, just like that, just making sure that it does seem to hinge on something or on an edge. All right, so at this point, bring it as close as possible to closing, but not fully, then push down. It's not in. Oh, it is in, huh? I guess at 200,000 miles, the plastic has seen quite some action, so it basically just slid in by itself. Yeah, that's why it's not very loud during snap off. That's it. Okay, at this point, go ahead and test everything. Make sure your clearances look okay. Open it. It does go down in a reasonable manner. Yep, I think we are done. Congratulations. You have probably noticed that my dashboard is cracking, but Nissan and Infiniti never seem to know what to do with their dashboards in their premium vehicles, so that's a different deal. Discussion for another day. Otherwise, you are done. Good job. Congratulations.